My entitled girlfriend said, "You should pay my rent now, I'm tired of working." I said, "Sure." Then I helped her pack. 48 hours later, she was crying on her friend's couch. I, 28 male, am a data analyst, which is a polite way of saying my brain thrives on order and patterns. For the first year and a half, my relationship with Clara, 27, was a good pattern. She was a graphic designer, full of chaotic energy that complemented my quiet structure. It worked. We had separate apartments, a life that felt like a partnership. But for the last 6 months, the pattern has been glitching. The data has been trending downward. It started with small things. Her jokes about my salary stopped sounding like jokes. She'd forget her wallet more often, but only when the bill was substantial. Our conversations started to feel like audits of my finances. We had a fight about a month ago when I bought a new ergonomic chair for my home office. She wasn't happy for me. She was resentful. "Must be nice," she'd said, "to just buy things without thinking." I told her I thought about it for 6 months. It didn't matter. My best friend Ben saw it more clearly than I did. "Dude, be careful," he told me over beers last week. "It sounds less like she's your girlfriend and more like she's interviewing you for a sugar daddy gig." I brushed it off, but the comment lodged in my brain like a splinter. The splinter finally broke the skin last Tuesday. We were at a decent Italian place. She was talking about her job, the usual complaints about clients and deadlines. Then she put her fork down, her expression turning serious. "Leo, I've been thinking about my journey," she said. "Okay," I said cautiously. "What about it?" "I'm just not meant for the 9-to-5 grind. It's draining my soul," she said, recycling a familiar line. "And you're so stable. You're in a good place." I just nodded, my stomach tightening. I knew this wasn't just talk. This was the culmination of the last 6 months. She took a deep breath, her eyes locking onto mine. "I think it's time you start paying my rent. I want to quit my job and focus on my art. You can afford it." It wasn't a question. It was an invoice. Ben's words echoed in my ears. The past 6 months of weirdness, of resentment and financial prodding, all clicked into place. This was it, the final data point that confirmed the failing pattern. I felt a wave of profound disappointment wash over me. I wasn't angry, not yet. I was just incredibly sad. For the woman I thought she was, for the partnership I thought we had. My mind raced, trying to find a response that wasn't just flipping the table. Is there any part of us left in this? I had to know. "Sure," I heard myself say, my voice sounding distant. Her face lit up instantly. "Really, Leo? I knew you'd understand. This is perfect." "Yeah," I said, my mind finally catching up. "I had to test it. I had to be sure. If we're taking that biggest step, combining finances like that, then we should go all the way. You should move in with me. We can save the money from your rent and actually build a future. It's the logical next step." The light in her eyes vanished. It was like a switch had been flipped. "Move in? Here? With you?" she sputtered. "My apartment is twice the size of yours," I said, keeping my voice steady despite the sinking feeling in my gut. "You could have a dedicated office. We could be a real team." Her face contorted into a sneer that I'd never seen before. "That's not what I want. I need my own space, my creative freedom. You're trying to control me, just like always." And that was the answer. She didn't want a team. She wanted a sponsor. The sadness I felt began to solidify into a cold, hard resolve. I placed enough cash on the table to cover the bill and stood up. The hurt was real and sharp, a physical ache in my chest. "I think we're done here, Clara," I said, my voice barely a whisper. "I'll help you pack, but you won't be moving into my place. You'll be moving out of my life." I walked out. The barrage of texts started before I even got to my car. I ignored them all. 2 days later, Ben called. He'd heard from Clara's friend, Maya, that Clara was a mess, crashing on her couch and crying about how I'd cruelly led her on and then financially abandoned her. She was spinning a tale where I'd promised her the world and then snatched it away. It hurts, knowing 2 years ended like this. But was I the a-hole for finally seeing the pattern and ending the program? TLDR. After months of entitled behavior, my girlfriend demanded I pay her rent so she could quit work. I tested her sincerity by suggesting she move in with me instead. She refused, revealing she just wanted my money. I ended it. Now she's telling everyone I'm a monster. Update 1. Hey Reddit, Leo again. Thanks for the feedback. It's been validating to know I'm not crazy. As many of you predicted, things have escalated. The vague social media post started almost immediately, courtesy of Clara and her enabler Maya. The usual stuff: #gaslighting, financial control. Some men can't handle a strong woman's dreams. I muted them and tried to move on. Then came the direct assault. After a few days of silence, she texted me, her tone all business. "Clara, I've been speaking with people, and they agree that what you did was emotional cruelty. You made a promise to support me, and I made plans based on that. You owe me. Me. I made a conditional offer for a partnership, Clara. You rejected it. You're twisting my words. I was planning on quitting my job. You've caused me severe emotional distress and jeopardized my career. I've calculated what's fair. 3 months rent to get back on my feet, $4,500. Send it and I'll disappear from your life." The audacity was breathtaking. This wasn't a broken heart, it was a collection agency. I told her I owed her nothing and that this was my final word on it. The next day, she tried a new tactic. "Clara, Leo, I know you're angry, but I'm serious. My grandmother's gold locket, the one she gave me. I think I left it in your bathroom. I have to get it. It's all I have left of her." It was a blatant lie. A Trojan horse to get into my apartment and create a scene. I distinctly remember her wearing it at the restaurant. I saw it as she was telling me I was to become her personal benefactor. My reply was carefully worded. "Me. Clara, you were wearing that necklace when you left. I've double-checked, and I don't have any of your property. However, if you want to be certain, I can arrange for a police officer to be present for a civil standby while you look for it. Let me know what time works for you." The immediate, angry silence told me everything I needed to know. The hurt has now been replaced by a grim determination. She's not just an ex-girlfriend, she's an adversary. She's not stopping. And if she's going to wage this war, I'm not going to be a passive victim. Update 2. Hello again. This past couple of weeks has been a slow, grinding battle. Clara's smear campaign went from vague to specific, and a few mutual friends got reeled in. But then she made a fatal error. She came after my livelihood. A 1-star review appeared on my professional page for my freelance web development side hustle. Fake name, but her venomous rhetoric was unmistakable. Unreliable and unethical. Makes promises he can't keep. That was the line. You don't try to burn down my career because you're mad I wouldn't pay your rent. The game changed. My response had to be logical, methodical, and final. I thought about the portfolio she was so proud of. The one I helped her build the website for. The one she was using to get a better job. I remembered my unease at the time, how she'd grab images and design elements from all over the web. I remembered asking about licenses and being airily dismissed. It wasn't a flash of inspiration, it was a grim, painstaking task that consumed my nights and weekends for over a week. Fueled by cold anger, I started digging through my old project files and browser history. I hit dead ends. I almost gave up twice. But then I found the first thread. A cached link to a premium icon set she'd used. One by one, I unraveled it all. The main banner image on her star project? From a premium stock photo site. I found the original. A side-by-side comparison made the theft undeniable. Her custom icon set? A direct rip from a licensed design pack. The elegant logo font? A boutique typeface that required an expensive commercial license for portfolio use. I created a simple, secure webpage. No drama, just the facts. I titled it Portfolio Asset Provenance. For each of the 7 stolen assets, I presented the evidence. A screenshot of her work, a screenshot of the original source, a direct link to the source, and a link to the specific license she had violated. It was a clinical, irrefutable document of her professional fraud. She had been boasting online about being a finalist for a senior designer role at a top marketing agency. An agency whose reputation would hinge on avoiding exactly this kind of plagiarism. I found the head of HR on the company's website. I also found the legal copyright complaint portals for the companies she stole from. I crafted a dispassionate, anonymous email. Subject: information regarding a candidate's portfolio. To whom it may concern, this is sent for your information only. The link below contains a documented analysis of third-party assets used in the professional portfolio of a prospective design candidate. The evidence is provided for your own internal review and vetting process. I sent the link to the HR department. I submitted the evidence through the proper copyright complaint forms for the stock companies, and I sent one final email with the link and the password to Maya. My message was simple: you should see this. I think you should know who you're defending. This wasn't enjoyable. Each piece of evidence I found felt like another nail in the coffin of the woman I thought I was dating. But she had forced my hand. This wasn't revenge. It was an audit. And she was about to fail. Final update. It's over. The consequences weren't a single explosion, but a series of controlled demolitions. About a week after I sent the emails, Ben called. I heard something weird from my buddy who works at that marketing agency Clara was interviewing with, he said. He told me her final interview was canceled. Her application was put on hold indefinitely due to irregularities in the vetting process. Sounds like corporate speak for "we found something bad." So, she didn't get the job. There was no lecture or blacklisting that I know of. She just got ghosted. The bigger bomb dropped at her current job. 2 weeks ago, she was fired. I found out from Ben again, who had the full story from a chain of mutual friends. Apparently, this wasn't her first ethical lapse. She'd been given a formal warning 6 months ago for using unlicensed software on her work computer. My anonymous tip to the stock company must have triggered a complaint to her employer. When they investigated and found her portfolio, which she had worked on using company equipment, was full of stolen assets, it was the final straw. She was fired for cause, for a repeated pattern of professional misconduct. The final betrayal for her came from Maya. Faced with the evidence, Maya chose self-preservation. She forwarded my evidence link and password to their entire friend group chat. Her message, I'm told, was peak hypocrisy. I feel like you all need to see this. I am shocked and horrified. I've been letting her cry on my couch, but I had no idea she was a fraud. I feel so used. Maya recast herself as a victim and threw Clara to the wolves. The public humiliation was total. Clara's social media vanished overnight. Last night, a blocked number called me. I knew it was her. I answered. The voice was a raw, ragged scream. You ruined my life. I have nothing. I lost my job. I have a letter from a lawyer for the stock company demanding thousands of dollars. It's all your fault. I let the storm break. When she was just sobbing, I spoke, my voice weary but clear. I didn't do this, Clara. You did. I asked for help, she wailed. No, I said, the final truth settling in my own mind. You issued a demand. When that failed, you tried extortion. Then you tried to sabotage my career. You lied to everyone, including yourself. Your career was built on theft. Your relationship with me was built on entitlement. I took a breath. This isn't my fault, Clara. This is gravity. All I did was let go. She started screaming again. I hung up and blocked the number for good. I don't feel happy. There's no victory lap, just a profound, heavy quiet. The war is over. The anxiety is gone. I'm left with the scar of a 2-year relationship that turned out to be a lie. But a scar is better than an open wound. I didn't win anything, but I got my peace back. I got my life back. And I've learned that you can't build a future on a faulty foundation. Sooner or later, it all comes down.